This episode is brought to you by Babbel. Want to learn a new language? Try Babbel. Their 10-minute interactive lessons teach you how to have everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use. Plus, Babbel lessons are available on the web and as an app, so you can learn at your own pace. Now, for a limited time, Spotify listeners can get up to 65% off their subscription by visiting babbel.com/Spotify.
On today's episode, we die and go to Disneyland, LB doesn't go to Mexico, and we help you live your best lonely life. All that and more on today's episode of Bad Advice with Lori Beth Denberg.
Help me out, almighty Lori Beth Denberg. Give me the vital information so I get the red thoughts. Oh yeah, the church of Lori Beth is in session, and we're reading from the scriptures of vital information. Talking my goddess and my savior, my LBT. Just tell me what's going on with me. Oh my goddess and my savior, my LBT. Just tell me what's going on with me. The Lori Beth Denberg.
Hello, everybody listening in the universe. This is Lori Beth Denberg. That's me, and welcome to the Bad Advice Podcast.
Woo!
With me, as always, is Clark Crozer.
Hello.
Hello, Clark.
How are you?
I'm not the best.
I know. We aren't supposed to be here today.
No, loyal, longtime listeners will know that I was supposed to be in Mexico. I was supposed to leave last Monday as we record this.
Yep.
And I think last week I talked about, it's up in the air. I don't know if COVID will allow it. I think I said I'm not going to get excited. I'm trying to not get excited.
Right. You were still nervous.
I'm still nervous that it could get canceled or that me and my friend would cancel ourselves.
Right.
Because we're all about cancel culture. But that is not the case, dear listeners.
Oh.
A dog ate my passport. A dog chewed the shit out of my and not like a stray dog or anything.
No.
That made it sound like I got mugged or something.
I also like that you literally brought your passport here to show me.
I brought my
like
passport
I wasn't
here
gonna
to
believe
show
you or
no, I put pictures of it up. I don't know if I put it on Instagram. Maybe I will.
Okay.
I think I smushed it on Facebook. Definitely I did.
Yeah.
A dog that I love, one of the red dogs.
Yeah.
He is a silly monster. He is like less than 2 years old.
Is this the one that just got snippy snipped?
He got snippy snipped.
Oh, so he was looking for revenge.
The next day.
Oh, yes. This was before that.
This was before that.
So it couldn't be revenge.
It couldn't have been. It
Wow.
wasn't. But I mean, there was still a little satisfaction in it. So it was in my bag. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
If you have a dog and it does something, don't leave your old family photos on the coffee table. He's a dick. He's eaten packs of cigarettes before.
Oh, no.
But all of this is, me learning now I need to keep my backpack zipped all the way up.
So he went into your backpack and got it out of your backpack?
He went into my backpack. I was having dinner with my friend at her house.
Okay.
And I wasn't facing he was behind us.
Yeah.
Both the red dogs were behind us. And I turn around, I just see my cigarettes all over.
Oh,
This is the third pack. He usually leaves me a good amount of unmurdered cigarettes.
Okay.
By the way, everyone, I smoke. I know it's not good. That's a different story. Conversation. And then I'm like, oh, God damn it, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I can't be, well, he's one of those dogs you can't be mad at because he's like so cute and sweet.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, oh. And then I'm like, that's fine. I'm picking him up. And then I see he has my passport in his mouth.
No.
And I see that it's not just in his mouth. I see that he's had it for a minute.
There's pieces on the floor already.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, fuck. I got upset.
No.
Like, I was like, you got my passport. Like I was, because we're supposed to then go to Mexico 4 days later.
Yeah. Well, and hello, this is the end of a 1.5 year long pandemic. How many other crazy wild trips have you been able to go on that were just like a relaxing vacation?
Actually,
None.
I know. So, So my friend and I looked it up and we thought, it'll be okay. Like my picture's not hurt.
Right.
The first, and apparently there's this little chip in the front.
In the front.
It's like, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm also terrified of adult things and paperwork. So I'm like, it'll be fine.
Sure.
This happened on a Wednesday. I didn't do anything about it Thursday.
Oh, no.
Friday, I look up on the internet because my friend that I was going with is like, you need to check it out. Did you handle it? Yeah. And I'm like, but it said it was fine on the random internet Google, whatever that we clicked on.
Yeah, the one thing that you looked at.
I'm like, that gave me the answer I wanted, so I stopped reading. It was like my own fake news that only fucked me over. So then I'm like, okay, I'll call. And I called on a Friday. We were supposed to leave on the Monday.
Yeah.
So I wait for an hour. I wake up at 5 a.m.
Okay.
Because the Passporty office line opens at 8 a.m. Eastern.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So I set my alarm for 4:45 and I wake up and I am on the phone.
Wow.
Like dialing in. And it said, we are experiencing higher than usual call wait times. Your approximate wait time is 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Oh, my God.
So I'm like, I'm staying on the phone.
Wow.
I'm staying on the phone. And it said that thing where it goes, if you don't want to wait, you can leave a callback number.
Sure.
You will not lose your place in line.
Sure.
So after 45 minutes, something like that, I go, okay, I'll try that. And I push like 2 and it goes, this option is not available right now.
No!
Which is fine. I'd rather sit in the line.
Yeah.
I honestly would.
Yeah.
But so I sit there, I get this woman on the phone. I'm super excited. It's now 6:30, between 6:30 and 7 a.m.
Okay.
And I tell her what happens, and she says, okay, well, you've got to, get an appointment. So I say, okay, do you have any appointments today? And she's like, no, we're all booked out. And this is all because of COVID.
Right, of course.
Normally, I would have been able to just go to the place and say, say, here's my money. Can I get an expedited one for an extra money?
Yeah.
That's what they say. They say, it's this money, but this is extra money. It's like a mechanic. You go, how much is this going to cost? He goes, how much you got?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that what happens in vacation?
Yeah, in vacation.
So the first appointment I can make is Wednesday. I'm supposed to leave Monday.
Right.
Is Wednesday in San Diego.
Oh, my God.
We live in Los Angeles. There were 3 offices in California, San Diego, San Francisco, and Los Angeles.
Right.
The only quickest thing was a San Diego appointment at 9 a.m., 2 days after we were supposed to leave on our trip.
Oh.
I'm like, I'll take it.
Oh.
I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then she says, so I'm like, okay, 2 days, maybe we can swish it. And so then she says, well, wait a minute. Do you have your travel booked?
Yeah.
Have you changed your travel? And I said, that's my next phone call.
Yeah.
And she says, you have to have your travel itinerary in hand to even make the appointment.
Huh.
And this is a line for just if you're traveling in the next 72 hours.
Okay.
So we had to have rebooked our travel, hoping that we could get an appointment.
Right.
To change that, like, it was just
so
this,
that you could go to the, travel.
Yeah, but if I change my flight and then I try to get an appointment after that, they could be like, well, no, now the only appointment is the day after your travel.
There's Thursday in Wyoming.
Yeah, so it was really disheartening. I was just scared that my friend was going to be so fucking pissed and just like excoriate me for like not taking care of it in time, which another friend was on the phone with us and she's like, that might not even have mattered.
Honestly, if your passport gets destroyed the week before you're supposed to leave.
Yeah. So I was really upset about ruining her trip. And she's also the one that makes the arrangements. So it's like, here, why don't you do a lot more work? And but I felt a little better because our trip, what's it called with the hotel-y part?
Yeah. The reservation.
The reservation for the like actual where we were going.
Sure.
Isn't refundable, but it's movable.
Okay.
So we could smush it to a different time.
Okay.
It's like we didn't lose like a bajillion dollars.
Okay, good.
So that's good.
Good.
But I was just so upset.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was crying. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. And I thought she might just be like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
But she texted back a little while later and said, I've postponed the trip. We're going February 1st through February 8th.
Okay.
Now, what that means is my birthday is February 2nd. Yes. So that means that she re-smushed the trip for my birthday, which made me feel really good and relieved because it meant she didn't fucking hate me.
Right.
You know,
she was doing something nice to you.
It was a very sweet gesture that let me know, like, yes, I'm disappointed, and yes, but like, still, like, we're friends. So, you know, but so I am not in Mexico right now.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I am not in Mexico right now, and neither is she. Yeah. And for a lot of weird reasons, though, it's working out. I want something real. Like, this is really bad. I'm like, I want there to be a huge hurricane.
Oh, no.
That we would have, like, you know, it's like, oh, so good
Thank
we didn't
God
go.
we didn't go.
But now I'm realizing that I'm wishing a big hurricane on everyone who did get to go.
Exactly.
And that's not my intention. It's certainly not my intention. It'd be like, I hope our plane crashes. That would have been. It's like, no, that's not something.
That's not something you should wish for.
So, you know, anyway, dear listeners,
wow.
I'd much rather be here talking to you than in Mexico on a lovely vacation. I'll have a lot of advice for you all about your huge problem. I mean, obviously, I do have the perspective that this is not a huge problem.
Yeah.
It's a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
And a huge learning lesson for me because I need to zip my fucking backpack up.
There you go.
So, and not put it on the ground. We were just eating dinner and,
You know what, though? My wife has been setting up our next big vacation, which I believe is in January-ish.
Mm-hmm. I'm scheduled to
watch the dogs. So yeah, she was basing all of this trip stuff on she wanted to be on vacation on her birthday.
Yeah.
Because that's just something that's really fun and it's a memorable birthday that you'll never forget. And so, you know, this might turn out to be something fantastic. And it could have just been like a fun, chill, easygoing vacation. And now it might be even more fun and crazier and cooler.
Well, it's mostly that she rescheduled it for my birthday, which like let me know she wasn't going to be like, fuck you, I'm going with someone else. But
wow.
So
okay. Well, I'm
so
sorry about that.
I am excited to give advice to people with bigger problems than me, maybe.
It's true. In fact, we have some really good questions today. I was really happy with the questions that we got, and we should start off with somebody named Brandy, actually.
Brandy, you're a fine girl.
Exactly. She's writing us and asking us a question. She says, "Hey guys, do you think it's normal to have quirks that your partner doesn't like? Like, I'm obsessed with music and Broadway, and anytime I listen to anything at all musical, he asks me to turn it off. I mean, he asks, but I know he's telling me to. Do you think everyone deals with things like this with partners on some level?"
The first thing I thought, it's funny how it ties into this whole question.
All right.
I thought of your boyfriend's in denial and secretly gay.
Oh, okay.
And he wants you to turn it off like a light switch, which is a song from the Book of
Mormon.
Mormon,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is a Broadway show.
Oh,
so your question is just a snake eating its own tail. Brandy.
Yeah.
Brandy. It is. If you are constantly blasting, not the theme song, the soundtrack to Oklahoma.
Sure.
If the entirety of the air in your apartment / house, wherever you live, is constantly filled with the original cast soundtrack to Showboat.
Right.
I can see being annoyed by that.
Sure.
But if you're just saying every time you turn it on, he's like, turn it off, and it's not a request.
Right.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, if it is that you just won't fucking let up and you're constantly playing it.
Exactly.
There are these things called earphones.
Yeah, exactly.
Or earbuds.
Or
if
headphones.
I want to. Yeah, headphones. Thank you. That you could go to. But it's not, everyone has pet peeves and everyone has something about their partner. They're like, oh, I hate this, but I love you otherwise. But if you love something and you're not like I'm picturing you as like a battered wife who's like, can I just turn it on really quietly? Right. And he's like, no.
She's like really silently just, it's a hard knock life.
Yeah.
And turn that off.
He's like, I'll show you a hard knock.
Oh, God.
Like he has hilarious puns. Like hilarious, like action movie puns.
But with like theater and musical themes to them?
Like he secretly like studies up like, oh, this will be a good one.
Right.
If you feel like you can't enjoy the things you like, that's not a nice thing to have to like, I can't enjoy the things I like.
Right.
But at the same time, like earbuds might be great because there's nothing more annoying than having to sit through, like I have a friend, I have many friends, and it's like, oh, this music is terrible and you're playing it loud in your house.
Right.
It's like, but this is what I clean to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is what I barf to. So there's different, there's varying intensities of not liking what you like. It's certainly weird that you say, he asked me to turn it off, but I know it's not an ask.
Yeah.
No, he's telling me to.
That's very aggressive.
Yeah. But again, if she's just playing it 24/7.
Yeah.
I just need...
Brandy, I'd be aggressive too.
Can you put cameras in your house and send me the footage from a 7-day period so that I can try? I'm like, there were 4 minutes without a Broadway musical going.
Exactly.
Ugh.
You see, I feel like when you're in the house, it's very rare to be listening to music if you're not doing something.
Yeah.
Right? Usually if you're in your house and you're listening to music, you're either cleaning or you're working or you're doing something that doesn't involve another person.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that and you're working or you're cleaning or you're doing whatever and listening to your music, your husband can go to another room. Like, if that's what you're doing, and if you need the music, you need the music. The only thing I feel like I grew up, and I've definitely kept this as an adult as well, but I grew up with a rule that was like a household rule, not a household, but a car rule. And you know what the car rule was?
What?
Driver gets to pick the music.
Oh.
If you're the driver, you get to pick the music. And you know what that meant for me?
You never got to pick the music.
That meant a lifetime of 94.7 The Wave.
Ooh.
Smooth jazz.
94.7 The Wave.
That was it. That was just like smooth jazz for my whole childhood. Because my dad would always drive.
Your dad's driving it and it's all smooth and he's pretending he's flying a plane.
Yeah, exactly.
Clark's dad loves like aviation and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I remember when we worked at the ad agency, it was all video games.
Oh, yeah.
And there was one that was like you were flying a plane, it was POV, and it was just flying this plane.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And I go, this is boring. Who would play this? And you go, my dad.
My dad. Yeah. He literally, it was just his birthday last month.
Yep.
Or the beginning of this month. And we were going back and forth for months on how much money we were going to spend on him this year, because he was really seriously considering spending about $3,000 for his birthday to get a gaming PC. That's a powerful gaming PC with a VR attachment to it.
Okay.
Because there is a new version of Microsoft Flight in which you do real-time flights over what is now, it used to be very animated looking, but is now almost photorealistic world underneath you. And now you put on the VR headset and you really are sitting in this cockpit.
Oh my gosh.
And you can look out the window and do all this stuff. And we were really getting ready to buy him a $3,000 rig to do all of this. And in the end, he kind of was just like, you know what? I kind of just want to play around with VR.
Has he done like flight lessons or anything?
He did one time. He did a...
So like $3,000 would pay for a lot of flight lessons.
I know. No, we've had him go up in a little 2-person plane.
Little Buddy Holly deal?
Yeah, and he was able to fly. So you could go up, the pilot takes you up, and then once you're up in the air, he kind of like directs you what to do, and then now you're flying the plane, and you're steering, you're turning, you're doing all... He did that once, and it was amazing, and he said he'd love to do it again, but that's as close as he's ever gotten. But anyway, all of that leads us back to if you're driving the car, you get to pick the music. Maybe you should drive more, Brandy.
Brandy, are you driving the house? But that also comes out like, who's paying rent?
Yeah, that's another thing.
You know, but it's interesting because we don't know I think I used the word intensity of the situation.
Yeah.
Brandy, tap your iPod twice if you need help. He's also like, I won't have carrots in this house, Brandy. She's like, I love carrots more than anything. Shut up.
Shut up.
He's like, I only like dramas. He's like,
he's obsessed with this a very niche thing too. But
it's not uncommon to have different interests.
Absolutely.
At all. And it's not uncommon at all for you to be like, ugh, he's doing this again. I hate that, but it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
And so if that's just kind of the vibe of it, put in your earbuds.
Yeah.
Put it, drive around the block, as Clark says.
I have one other suggestion, and then we can move on. There are, especially nowadays, a wide breadth of musical styles. What if find something that your husband's into? Does your husband like 80s rock? Well, then maybe you should play Rock of Ages.
Oh, Rock of Ages.
Rock
of Love was that horrible show. With that guy.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe there's a musical that you could find that would have his taste thrown in there, and then you could both enjoy it together. Just a thought.
Okay, I like it. Or, Brandy, your husband is abusive, and you need to write back with the real question.
Yeah.
Maybe this is like a coded message asking for help.
Exactly. Jesus. All right. Hopefully that helps, Brandy. And please, if there is more, let us know. But we're going to move on to our next question. And this one is from Louise. And Louise asks, do you think people should get buried or cremated?
Oh.
Simple question.
Interesting.
Right?
Let me prepare. No, I'm kidding. I just had to clear my voice.
I was going to say.
Obviously, it is a personal issue. There are all religious things that go into it.
Sure.
There are cultural things. There are family things. I want to be cremated.
Okay.
I want to be cremated. And a big part of that is, this is kind of deep, but a big part of that would be I'm free of my body.
Yeah.
Like I am now light as literally air.
Yeah,
if you want to
dust.
Big Lebowski me into the
right
ocean breeze and back in your face.
Yeah.
And but Jewish people, I mean, I was raised Jewish.
Yeah.
But Jewish people I know don't get cremated or, within the religion.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's a thing.
It's
plenty
a thing.
of them do.
It's a thing.
Excuse me. Plenty of us do. But, Jewish people just, get you in the ground like toot sweet.
Right.
And it's like a thing.
Yeah. No tattoos.
Exactly. So, and I'm sure all of that has like, you got to go with a Jewish cemetery.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm half cremated and covered with tattoos. Can they bury you like just between the cemetery and the street?
Wait, which half is cremated?
Exactly. It depends on what the accident was that killed him. But the fiery car wreck on the passenger side, but the sleeve of tattoos on my right arm is fine.
Oh, okay. I was gonna. I thought you were thinking more like Onward, like it's just pants.
Yeah.
It's just legs, right?
No, so there is that, deeply ingrained for a lot of people, religious, cultural, familial concept. For me, I just want to be cremated and put somewhere nice. I don't know where, but, my friend whose husband just passed away, he was buried. It was a whole military funeral. I feel like I did that exact thing when I explained it before.
Yeah.
So I went through that process with her and the whole, rigmarole and the different stages of it. But that's what he wanted.
Right. Right.
And then she was saying like, there were so many places they didn't get to go. And I was like, see, this is why he should have been cremated. We could go everyone and just toss a pinch of him.
Exactly.
Everywhere. But that's not what he wanted.
Yeah.
And that was based on like all of his experiences and what he wanted.
Yeah.
So my dad's being cremated.
Really?
Yeah. He loves to show me the paperwork just to make sure I still understand.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's all handled and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But you don't know where you want to be like released?
No, I haven't thought about that at all.
What are your thoughts on the people that want to be released in specific rides at Disneyland?
I think it's illegal and you shouldn't do it when anyone's watching. I mean, that is such a deal.
Right?
That is such a deal. I mean, how are you going to, first of all, I don't believe in like life after death and all this kind of stuff. I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
I think that, we should be good and kind to each other on Earth as the meat bags that we are.
Right. Just for the reason of being kind to one another. Yeah. That's all the reason you need.
Because it's nicer.
Yeah. I want to live in a world where people are just nice to each other.
Exactly. Exactly. So, I'm not saying like, it's more of that when people have that, I'd love to be put into Hawaii or whatever.
Yeah.
Then that can give people that peace of mind that like, I'm going to spend eternity and not in a spiritual soul kind of a way.
Yeah.
But just literally in a place I love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me go spread my ashes in Hawaii. It's like, I'll be in Hawaii forever.
Paradise forever.
Exactly. And the same with, Disneyland or Rise at Disneyland. It's, how happy must you be at Disneyland? How special, how personal must it, the feeling you get being there be to someone who says, dump me in Small World.
Right.
I wonder where the most
that's
popular.
A hell.
Yeah, I know, right?
An eternity inside of Small World.
If you hate your husband and he's like, let me out at the top of Big Thunder, and you're like, you're going in fucking Small World, bitch.
I feel like for an eternity, you would just be talking and everything you would say would just sound like it was sung in that stupid song.
I've watched Family Guy in reverse.
Okay.
Like, I've watched all the episodes from this last season.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to watch it. So I went I think it was season 19, but I watched 18,
no
17.
kidding.
Yeah, I'm on 3 now.
Stewie's not getting younger.
No one's getting younger. No one's getting older. Eventually,
Meg's voices change.
Yeah, eventually Mila Kunis is going to turn into Lacey Chabert.
Yeah, exactly.
But, so it's really funny watching it in reverse. But I just saw one where Peter takes Stewie to quote unquote Disney World.
Oh, okay.
And he gets lost, and then the evil Disney corporation kidnaps him and makes him a part of the small world. Like everyone in Small World aren't dolls. They're just captured indentured servants.
Kids.
So that was fun. It's more, I mean, to me, who I don't believe in anything but being here right now with the people and dogs that I love or tolerate or haven't met yet.
Right.
And, being a good person and trying to make someone smile and live my life.
Yeah.
That thought of, it's like the safety net. When I die, I'm going to be on the beach in Hawaii.
Right.
It's something for the actual eventual dead person to kind of give themselves solace, to kind of, take maybe the fear away, this and that.
Right.
So maybe I should look into it before I get dumped in the middle of our high school quad or something.
I was going to wrap this question up with, I think I have a good idea.
Okay.
I think you should plot a cross-country road trip and then make whoever's doing it either slowly dripping you through the whole country as they're driving, or leave little bits of you in little spots, crossing from one side to the other.
You know what you've just described, Clark?
What?
The most macabre ending to hashtag 1 million hugs ever.
You just get those last 999,997 is like somebody hugging your urn.
Yeah, hugging the urn and taking a pinch. Oh my God. If that's what COVID comes to, the entire world has failed me.
Okay.
This episode is brought to you by Wine.com. The days of standing in the wine aisle, staring aimlessly at a wall of wine without a clue, are over. Go to Wine.com and pick the perfect bottle with confidence every time. Filter your search by price and professional ratings, read reviews, and even chat with real wine experts for recommendations. It's the world's largest wine store delivered to your door. And if you sign up for a stewardship membership, you'll get free shipping year-round on every order. Get $50 off your first order by going to wine.com/Spotify. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by CVS. Ready to up your beauty and wellness game? The Epic Beauty event at CVS is back. Now through September 25th, everything you need is on sale. They're also giving even more rewards with escalating extra bucks. Spend $30 and get $10 in extra bucks rewards. Or spend $40 and get $15. And that's on top of all the Epic deals. See their circular to learn more or visit cvs.com/epicbeauty.
Well, thank you so much, Louise. I appreciate that. That was a good question. But it is now time. I'm very excited for our rotating segment of the week, and it has been a while, but it is time for a voice from the past.
And now, Advertise presents Voice from the Past.
All right, so LB, you want to introduce our voice from the past?
I definitely do. On the phone right now is Farah Alvin.
Woo!
Farah Alvin was my best friend. Oh, Clark's giving you a round of applause.
Thanks, Clark.
You're welcome.
My best friend from high school. I would say there was a threesome.
Hey.
You, me, and Steven Kaplan. So Farah was one of my best friends in high school. We were definitely drama nerds together.
Yeah.
She is, I will say, an amazing performer.
Yeah.
Don't get embarrassed, but a voice that, what was the quote that I love? Farah Alvin from a review has a voice that your family could summer in.
Oh, I like that.
It's big and belty and soft and emotional, and she's just incredible.
Farah was also, she was your best friend, but she was also my eternal stage wife. Because we did we did like 3 or 4 plays together, and we were always cast as either husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend.
Correct.
Yeah, we were. You were my stage wife.
That was it. It was a sort of artificial love affair.
Yeah, exactly.
When you both graduated, did your stage children have to decide who to live with? In the mashup dramatic production of Irreconcilable Differences, Kramer versus Kramer.
Was it a musical too? Because I hope so.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, of course.
I guess it would be called Irreconcilable Kramers.
Exclamation point, the musical.
Exactly.
Yeah, there we go.
So Farrah does have a wonderful voice. She's also an actress. She's been in many Broadway shows.
Yeah.
She's done her own cabaret shows. And she went to high school with us.
That's right.
So
that's the most important part.
And that is definitely the most important part. So how are you doing, Farrah?
I'm doing all right. I've been very fortunate to be able to perform even in this sort of weird pocket of the pandemic that we're in.
Yeah.
So I feel really lucky to do that because so much of live theater and live performance has not been in operation for the last year and a half. So I just reprised one of my one-person shows, which is a 70s tribute show called B-Side. I did that, and I just did a production of a show at the Cape Playhouse in Dennis, Massachusetts, which is the oldest running summer stock theater in the country.
Ooh.
They've been in operation for over 100 years. So people are trying to make it happen, and I'm really lucky to be a part of that. And I'm, living my best Delta variant life in New York City. So I'm good.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, we should also say, in addition to all of that, you are also a nutritional coach? What's that about?
That's correct, yeah.
Apparently that hasn't rubbed off on me yet.
It's all right. About like 11, 12 years ago, I sort of thought, what else am I passionate about? If I wanted to be, I actually wanted to be a bit pickier about the kind of theater work I was taking. When this becomes your job, it was wonderful. Like the experiences we had with high school theater are a mixed bag. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a second. But you sort of fall in love with this idea of what theater is, and then you become a professional. I'm sure this is true for, it's true in film and television and commercial work, everything. And you go, oh, this is not exactly what I imagined. And so, as I progressed in my career, I wanted to be a little pickier about the work that I was taking. Nice. And I was like, well, what else am I passionate about? And I had become very passionate about health and nutrition and wellness. So I went to school for that. And I've been doing private coaching with clients on that front for, 10 years plus. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
I don't know if we said that Farrah lives in New York.
Yeah.
I said it.
I'm like, what if people, now you could do anything on Zoom, I guess. But I was like, so if you're in New York and you want to, we should say you're in New York.
You can't Broadway on Zoom,
exactly.
but,
Oh, you know what? I did say Broadway, so that was implied. It was inferred. One of my favorite moments is the very first job you got when you decided to go to New York, and you decided to go there instead of going to college, which I think was the right move as a high school dropout.
At the time was definitely the right move. I don't think college is for everyone. Sorry. I know you have said that on this very podcast.
But so the first job that I remember you having was in A Christmas Carol at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And it was this very charming, who was it, Ben Vereen?
Yeah, Ben Vereen and Terrence Mann were the stars.
Yeah.
And it was written by Lynn Ahrens and Alan Menken. Alan Menken, of course, wrote, every famous Disney movie.
Right.
Beauty and the Beast and
Aladdin,
etc. Yeah. And so they wrote the score, and Lynn Ahrens wrote the lyrics to Ragtime. They were like an amazing sort of dream.
Oh, and Once on This Island, that Lynn Ahrens.
Yeah, that Lynn Ahrens, also wrote Once on This Island. So they were the writers of the show. Sorry, I'm literally standing on the street and couldn't be in a louder spot of New York.
You're coming through loud and clear.
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, good. Sorry, there's like a lady having a full conversation with her dog 3 feet from me. I mean, a full conversation, like the dog is talking back. It's a lot.
Is it about a serious topic, or are they like abortion?
Yes. That's a good segue. Yeah. Yes. They're talking about the California recall. It's interesting.
Of course.
So no, they're not. She's I don't know what the f she's talking about. Anyway, I don't care. I'm a New Yorker. So that was my first big gig, and there were a lot of other sort of famousy people attached, and it was a really special, lovely Christmas show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then I went to it. And afterwards, like when I met up with you, I was just so welled up because I'd seen you in plenty of shows. I'd been in shows with you. I'd, seen your cabaret show. But there was something about like you doing this show. And then outside, it was New York.
Yeah.
And you had moved there and you were like realizing your dream by being in a big production. I described you, I'm like, this is so amazing. And you were kind of like, what's going on? But I just remember having this like really like emotional response to like, all of that.
Sweet. Well, that's great. I mean, it's really not, it was, I vaguely remember that too. I definitely remember you coming to visit. LB used to come and visit me a lot in New York, and, which was a total blast. And you were still on Nick at the time, right? So you would have reasons to come here for work quite often. And we were not cool. We would not do like cool New York things.
Oh, no.
We were like 19 also, so we couldn't like go out and do things that grown-ups
right.
do. So we would, like, go see a Broadway show together. Yeah. We were kind of nerdy together, which was really fun to do. But I appreciate that you remember that. Like, it's special when I don't know if there's any theater kids listening. I teach theater now too. It's sort of like when your dream actually sort of comes true. It came true very early for me, and then derailed and changed and did all different kinds of things after that. But like it was really special to have a person who was there, like when my theater dreams were percolating, sort of see it all come to fruition.
You were in the touring company of Grease.
Yes,
playing Jan. But then
Danny. I'd rather have played Danny.
Yeah.
Jan.
But then you were on Broadway in Grease.
That's right.
Were you the company and understudy for Jan? What was that?
Yeah, that's right. I was in the ensemble and I understudied Jan and Miss Lynch. I was 20 years old when I joined the company.
Wow.
I had to cover the teacher because I was tall.
Of course. So I have this romantic notion and I like to surprise people. So I think it was the first time I surprised you is when you were in Grease on Broadway. And I remember you had told me that people would be annoyed because the musical is not the same as the play.
Right.
So people would...
You mean
the movie.
Oh, yes.
The movie.
The musical is not the same as the movie.
I do like...
The original play had no music. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I do like the idea of a strictly non-musical version of Grease. That's like a dramatic playwright version.
Yeah, right? So there's a school shooting.
Tell me more. Yeah.
So you would say people would be disappointed because the musical on Broadway didn't end with, "You're the one that I want."
Right.
You are the one I want. Hoo.
Honey, no.
So I had gone there. I had gone to a flower shop, maybe more than one, because I wanted to find bamboo. Like instead of bringing you flowers, I wanted to bring you a wop babaloo bop a wop bamboo. So I was able to find that and like have it wrapped up like little flowers. And then I waited at the stage door after I saw you. Or after the play, and when I saw you come out, I go, "Why didn't you sing 'You're the One That I Want'?" And then you were like, "Oh my God." And then you said, "Oh, I totally walked through my performance today. You have to come back again." And then we did. Me and Michael Morona came back.
Oh my God, that's right.
A couple days later. So
and I tried that day.
Yes, I just, she tried really hard. It was like the biggest jazz hands, wide eyesiest performance of all time.
I wanted them to get their money's worth.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. So those are, I think, two of my favorite. I mean, I've surprised you like 4 times.
You have surprised me so many times. It is truly crazy. And it is, I don't know, it's kind of like one of the last, like, things in life that's surprising, I guess. I don't know. We're just so jaded if we sort of have so much information.
Yeah.
Like, when you're doing a show and you have absolutely no idea that, like, your best friend from high school is there, and then you walk out and you're like, what? Although, can I tell the story about how it was ruined?
Yes, I was about to, but you can go ahead.
Okay, so I did this show 2 years ago. It was sort of one of the last shows before the world shut down, I guess. And it was in this very strange location where you had to go into this church and then down. It's an off-Broadway theater, which are sometimes in weird places. So you had to, like, go down this elevator. It's impossible to find. And also at the top of this show, the star of the show is my lovely friend Chris Dewan. He started the show coming into the audience. So, like, he was basically the audience went in. Then he stood in the lobby when the lobby was empty, and then he, like, entered into the theater. And so that basically had just happened, and LB was arriving to surprise me, like, late, because she could not find the theater, because no one could find the theater.
Yeah.
So she was, like, wandering, like, half wandering, half running, like, through the lobby to try and get to the show before it started. And so Chris is standing there, and he's, like, exactly the right age to be a super fan of yours. He was, like, 30, 31 at the time. And so he comes immediately backstage. I didn't know LB. I didn't see her. But Chris comes immediately backstage and he's like, Lori Beth Denberg is here. And I go, what? And he goes, Lori Beth Denberg is here. And I was like, oh, she's here for me. And I was like, I was so excited, right? And he was like, what? And I was like, she's here for me. And he was like, there was no understanding of this at all. So, like, the 32 and under crowd were, like, gagging and losing their mind that Lori Beth Denberg was at the show. And they did not understand when I was, like, explaining, like, she surprised me. But then she didn't, of course, know that her surprise had been ruined. So she was like, surprise! When I got to the lobby, I was like, I knew you were here.
But that was still really good. It was a play called Enter Laughing by Carl Reiner.
Oh, wow.
And you were definitely, like, it was a swell show. But there's one song that you performed. Were you sitting on a piano or just near it?
Yeah, I was sitting on it.
Which was like, everyone in the audience was like, yeah. So, okay, you are walking around with your Trader Joe's groceries. So we're going to let you go and go home. Say hi to the husband and the kid.
Thank you so much.
And it's been lovely to talk to you.
Well, thanks so much. I'm so honored. I'm a big, long-time listener, first-time caller. So I'm very happy to be here. Have a great podcast, you guys.
Thank you so much, babe. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So we're going to move on to our final question of the day. And our final question is a phone question. I'm very excited.
Oh, good.
And it is from Anonymous.
Okay.
Hello, Lori, Beth, and Clark. I would like to remain anonymous for this question. I'm a big fan of the podcast, and I tune in every week, and I'm almost caught up. I have a question about living alone. Throughout my 20s, I've lived with lots of different people, and it's always pretty much gone poorly, with very few exceptions. And I moved around a lot in my 20s. And finally, during the pandemic, I was able to swing it so that I could live alone for the first time in my life. And this is something that I had dreamed of doing for years. I was like, this would solve all of my problems. Like, I won't have to deal with interpersonal stuff with roommates that just ruin my friendships. And I can just stand on my own 2 feet. And now that I do live alone, the first couple months were chill and fun. And now, like, because of my isolation, because of COVID, I'm kind of still having COVID fears. I basically am just alone all the time, and I'm kind of starting to go crazy. So I guess my question is, how do you deal with living alone? I should add that I'm 30, just turned, and the feeling of being alone all the time feels very, very 30s. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I hope my question made sense. See ya.
All right. That is Anonymous.
Anonymous. Your question makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. And it doesn't happen this way a lot. It's weird because you don't want to move in with someone you don't know.
Right.
But also your roommate shouldn't be your best friend.
Yeah.
Because separate lives are important.
Mm-hmm.
And there is nothing worse than dreading going home.
Oh, yeah.
Living with someone.
Yeah.
Or somewhere, even if it's like my neighbors are awful, or like that feeling of like dreading going home.
This is supposed to be your sanctuary.
Exactly.
Your place of escape.
Let me get there and relax.
Yeah.
Let me get there and get the shit done I need to do so I'll feel good that I got it done.
Or just hide away from the world.
Yeah, exactly. So to know you're walking into something like that and to regret it, I don't know how bad they were, but it sounds like you moved every 3 weeks.
Yeah, seriously.
Is the problem you? Somehow, all of my roommates ended up dead.
Exactly. She's like Black Widow of roommates.
Exactly. I talk a lot like a Valley Girl, and it's annoying, but I am literally,
you are literally a Valley Girl. It's true. Well, out of the two of us, I've never lived alone. I've only lived with either roommates or my parents or my wife.
Yeah.
Those are the only 3 things. You've lived alone a number of times.
Yeah, I have lived alone, which was a relief.
Yeah.
It was a relief when it happened because it followed a bad situation.
Totally.
It followed a roommate that there were issues, and I was uncomfortable, and it was upsetting with someone who was a friend of mine,
right?
Not super close. We got to know each other better living together, but it just was not a good situation. I moved out to the first place I think I'd lived alone since I'd gotten sober.
Wow.
Because when I was sober, I had no money.
Right.
We've talked about I was the good kind of homeless.
Right.
I went from couch to couch and floor to floor. I stayed with you for a while.
Yeah.
Until the landlord was like, who's this girl? Do you have a new roommate?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you need to pay me money? And you were like, look, you gotta go. But I think when I finally landed at a place that was my own, it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And it's just sucks so hard, my dear Anonymous, that you finally had this thing.
Yeah.
You can be alone. And guess what? You can be alone for 2 years after that.
Exactly.
Unless you want to die of COVID.
Oh.
So that is a whole other thing. But what's interesting is we all had, not all of us, a lot of people had that same experience.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden we weren't going out. We weren't meeting for dinner. We weren't going for drinks at the bar. We weren't going to family things.
That's right.
Unless you're a bad person, and you probably still are. Get vaccinated. # 1,000,000 hugs. So, hopefully you've been reaching out in all the ways we can. Now that things are opening up a little bit more, but reaching out, doing the Zoom. I never heard of Zoom before this freaking pandemic.
Nobody did.
So I think that if you're reaching out as best you can there, that's good.
Yeah.
And if you're leaving your house, even now, even though things are opening up, what I just said, even during the pandemic, I would have suggested, going outside, going for walks. There were places we could go with our masks on and just kind of soaking up the out of doors and seeing people.
Yeah.
Not, people that during the early pandemic, I met a friend of mine who's now a very good friend of mine, but we were friendly acquaintances, friends.
Sure.
I met her at a park and we would walk. A, walk for health reasons, but B, she has a doggy named Bella.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to have some doggy time.
Exactly.
Because I board dogs when people go out of town.
Right.
But no one was going
Nobody
out of
was
town.
leaving, yeah.
So I was jonesing for a dog.
Yeah.
So that would be the thing. And then we were part of our, little bubble. So eventually we got to, hang out. We went to her house and this and that.
Nice.
Masks, all the whole deal, washing hands. And, I'd get doggy love. But, then I would, of course I talked to everybody, but even we would just see other people and say hi and
strangers,
connect with the world.
Yeah.
And that's important to do.
Yes.
That's really important to do.
Yes.
And I don't think you want to find a roommate.
Yeah.
I think you'll be like, oh, fuck, what did I do?
I do feel like Anonymous would have also called us at this moment if she didn't find roommates and she was still living with other people.
Yeah.
And it would have been a totally different call of
right?
I live with people and I can't find a way to live on my own.
Yeah.
And I've been stuck with the same 2 horrible people for 2 years straight now, and I'm going to murder them tomorrow.
Oh, Anonymous.
Right?
Yeah. I can't say that. I'd say I would choose to be alone for the pandemic rather than with someone. But I was with my dad.
Yeah.
So it was frustrating.
Yeah.
And there was that horrible feeling of being quarantined, but never being alone.
Yes.
I never had just...
Yeah.
And so this might be a time, Anonymous, to just remember where you came from.
Right.
And say, okay, is this still better than living in an uncomfortable situation with a friend / roommate / eventual enemy?
Yeah.
And having that regret and that uncomfortability and saying, okay, I don't have to worry about that because I live on my own now.
Exactly.
But that means that you have to work a little harder to connect with people, with the outside world.
Right.
Obviously, the pandemic was a huge obstacle for, that.
Totally.
It's not like you're going to go to the roller rink.
Yeah, totally.
It's closed forever. Our roller rink.
Our roller rink, just got closed and turned into the what's his name? Alex Trebek Center for the Homeless.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be some sort of charity, but Skateland. Pour one out for Skateland.
Ugh.
Pour one out on the skating part so I can slip on it. Like I need something to help me slip. Concussion. So yeah, living alone, you do have to find a way to reach out more because it can get to the point, and especially with the pandemic, it's through the monkey wrench of the millennium into the millennium's still like really young. Though.
I know.
What else could go wrong? You have to work harder to reach out and to not start isolating in a bad way, to not let the isolation take over.
Yeah.
But when you live alone, you have to work harder on that.
Now, let me ask you this. This might be a good idea or this might be a horrible idea.
Okay.
Does she contact some of those old roommates? Not to be like, come live with me, just to talk to them and remind herself, like, remember when I had to live with these idiots every single day?
Yeah.
Like maybe there would be something interesting about that, of contacting one of these or multiple of them and being like, hey, how's everything going? How's life? What's been happening? How's the pandemic treated you? Just to hear what they're saying and to slowly start realizing, no, you know what? I think I am better off being here than stuck with them for 2 years.
It's like, hey, I just want to call and connect. I know you drank my milk. You're like, all right, clicking off the phone, living by myself. You put your feet up and you light a cigar and you just remember.
Exactly.
Work on getting out of the house to go places, safe places right now. Some stuff is opening up.
Yep.
But
use social media. Contact old friends. Talk to your old, people that you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, that's a big thing is being able to connect with, which, all of this made it so easy. We already had 92 ways to connect with. Whenever some new thing comes, I'm like, Snapchat, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't have enough ways to be bored by everyone I know and be like anxious that I'm not communicating enough on my own.
Yeah, exactly.
But sorry, Snapchat.
Take that, Snapchat.
Take that, Snapchat. Their stock just plummeted. So, and I appreciate Anonymous being anonymous so that her roommates won't be like, that bitch hates me now.
That sounded like Susan.
Yeah, I think Clark is right. And that's why I said, remember where you came from.
Yeah.
That the yuckiness and uncomfortability and all that stuff of living with people is what it is. You can't control the other people.
Yeah.
But you can control how much you reach out and to whom and how.
Yeah.
And getting out of your house.
Yeah.
So,
If you're feeling lonely, we live in an age where you can be at home and not lonely anymore.
yes.
You can contact friends. You can, meet new people. There's all sorts of fun things that you can do now online.
Exactly.
So use online, get some friends.
And go outside and just say hi to random people.
Yeah, I love that too.
If they're not carrying a knife.
Yes. But that was the last question of the day.
Okay.
That was it. So if you guys out there listening, if you have a question or a decision that's weighing heavily on you, please send it to us and let LB ease your burden. Send us your problems at AskLoriBeth.com. You can follow us on all the socials at AskLoriBeth, or just leave a message with your voice at 1-855-336-2374. That's 1-855-DENBERG or 1-855-Denberg.
And you can find me at LB Denberg on Instagram, at Lori Beth Denberg on Twitter. And there is the Lori Beth Denberg fan page on Facebook. If you want a lovely personalized video from me for a loved one or someone you hate, or if you want me to break up with your boyfriend for
there
you
you
in
go.
a funny, hilarious way.
I love that.
Quiet, this is a breakup. Can you imagine? I'd fucking do it.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
You can book me for any of those at cameo.com/Lori Beth.
Prank phone calls have been a staple of humor for like 50 years.
Yes.
We need to evolve into prank cameos.
I love it.
Right? Just randomly buy a cameo for somebody that you hate and have that person like tell them off.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with
Right?
that.
Right?
No, I meant to say I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I'm so cool.
All right. Thank you everyone for listening. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you so much, babes.
That Advice stars Lori Beth Denberg and Clark Crozer. The show is produced by me, Jeremy Balon, and part of the Seltzer Kings network. Our theme song is written and performed by Natty Ward. If you or someone you love is in need of some bad advice, you can submit your own question on our socials, all of which are Ask Lori Beth, or on our website at AskLoriBeth.com, or for a nostalgic twist, you can call 1-855-Denberg. That's right, 1-855-336-2374, and leave your question there. Thanks for listening.